Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. This is Lisa Rosado, and you are on HR Mindfulness. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I know I took a little mini hiatus, but I am back, and I will be posting every Monday starting April 25th. And in addition to all the HR stuff that I'll be I'll be talking about, I'm also going to be talking about my favorite topic, which is personal development, personal discovery. I'll also have several co hosts come and join me this season. Super exciting times. So let's jump right in. I quit my job without having a new one. This literally has been the scariest, but also the most liberating decision I have ever made. It definitely opened my eyes on different perspectives, but it also has empowered me in many different ways. Before I made this decision, I definitely made a plan for myself and created structure and made sure that I was making a financially responsible decision. So I wouldn't recommend anyone to make this decision unless they are financially prepared to do so. Just gonna dive in and just start talking about me. So, as you guys all know, I've been working in HR for the last 10 years and I truly love it. I love being that person that people can relate to, that will actually listen to them during hard times, and just I love being that person that can offer support and guidance, any best way that I can. My involve around considering employees and trying to make effective practices and policies that really hone in on retention, inclusion, and belonging. Essentially, just trying to make sure that the employee is in an environment where they are being trained properly and they are being considered and they are being set up for success. I just like being that balance between employer and employee, which led me down this venture of employee engagement, employee experience, and really being able to establish a sense of community in the workplace. I just can't imagine anyone starting their new role and they're expected to hit the ground running immediately without being briefed, without being introduced to the policies, procedures, and how to do things, or being introduced to your colleagues that are going to help you get certain tasks done. Like there should be a complete onboarding policy, or rather practice, that is involved within your first week of employment. I know that sounds really corny and really cliche, but me being in this seat for such a long time and also have not been onboarded correctly or have been expected to hit the ground running as soon as I walk in the door, I just don't feel like it's fair. So, hence why I'm here today enlightening everyone on employee experience practices. But, that's just my briefing. But as far as my previous experience, so in my last full time role, and it was great. I've learned so much about HR. I learned so much about myself, accountability, commitment, all this good stuff. However, I felt like it was not authentic. And I was like overly structured. It was overly structured. I don't know if that makes sense or if that's even a term, but overly structured, leading to the point of trying to be perfect in every aspect. I just ultimately felt like a prisoner and I couldn't be myself. And I hated that. I hated trying to be perfect because I'm not perfect and I know that. Also, an environment that needed to have over communication. I don't know if you guys have ever been in an environment where you need to over communicate everything. Yeah, so I just went to the bathroom, and I'm back now, so I'm gonna continue my project. It was it was not that granular, but I'm just trying to give you like a visual of my day, of how much I had to communicate. It was just a lot. And clearly you can tell just by that it was a lack of trust, and it was it was just apparent to me also that I was adopting these practices in my everyday life, and I started not to trust myself. I started to double guess the decisions that I was making for myself in my personal life. And I was often feeling like a prisoner in my own body. And I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't, not stand true to myself. Point in my career, it just the work I knew the work like the back of my hand. Like I knew exactly what I was doing, but because I knew exactly what I was doing, it just left a lot of room for like scrutinizing. And the work still needed to be reviewed, and it still needed to be reviewed for perfection. And that's the part that was actually getting to me. It was not so much like the environment or the culture because it was great. It was just like what I was like facing every single day as I was sitting in my seat. Even when there was opportunities for advancement and there was opportunities to do something new in my role, it because of the over communication, because of the constant checking in and making sure that this was correct, it killed all the momentum. It killed all vibes of creativity to do anything. And it was just not for me anymore. Like I wasn't feeling motivated. This time I was stepping into life coaching and taking these workshops to really help me understand that I matter, that my feelings matter, and that I get to choose me. And that's exactly what I did. I was interviewing at this time and I decided to take another opportunity that was offered to me, and I left. I went to another organization where it was the complete opposite. There was no structure, no training, no support. It was truly an environment that operated backwards to me in my eyes. They operated from a place of survival mode rather than creating strategies for success. And what I mean by this is they were so used to operating a certain way that anything that came different was no, 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 we can't do this, we can't do this. So that's what I mean about operating from survival mode. You're just doing things to get by, not necessarily because you are trying to create something better. Structure. There wasn't a team approach to the work itself. There wasn't like I did not feel included. I did not feel engaged. And I just felt like, oh my God, did I make the wrong decision here? What did I do? I tried to make it work as best as I could. When there was opportunities for presenting feedback and offering my experience, I definitely tried to take that opportunity to share, hey, so what do we think about this? Do we think that this can we do it this way, or trying to introduce new ideas to the table, and it was just not received. And it was lies in that moment that my feedback was not going to be reciprocated just because they were so used to functioning a certain way that no matter what anyone said, it was going to take a long, long time for any type of change to be made. Again, I'm finding myself in an environment where I'm not feeling empowered. I'm not feeling that I can communicate any type of vision. And there was no clarity there for me to even try to fit in, I guess. I guess if that's the right word. But it was creating a false narrative inside of my own head as to, me not being able to make the right decisions, going back to my old job, and this level of trust being really, really big in my mind at this point. Even now, being able to trust in the unseen that things are going to work out. So there was a lot of introspection during this time where I said, no, 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 no. Like I need to find me. Like I cannot be drowning in other people's mess, if you can say. And I decided to take a leap, and I decided to put this concept of trust out there. And I'll give you guys an example. So most recently, my leadership team, through my life coaching workshops, I had entered a leadership team, and we went to a team building event that had zip lining and all this stuff of heights everywhere. And I am not a heights person. Like, I was super, super scared. And it's true. One of the trainers on the site was like, listen, this is all in your mind. Like, this is not like these ropes are really sturdy. It could hold 300 pounds plus. Like, he made his point as to how these ropes are going to hold me. And I still didn't trust that I was going to be held. Like, I thought that I was going to fall. Ultimately, I made the decision not to zip line, but I was proud of myself to do everything else. But the point that I'm trying to make here is let go and trust. And because this trust concept has been replaying over and over in my mind, I feel super empowered to go back and to actually do the zip lining. So I'm definitely gonna be doing that and conquering and facing those fears and letting some shit go. So there's many areas in my life where I'm trying to make these decisions and I'm trying to let go and just let faith and let the universe like do its course. Like, not everything needs to be controlled. Not everything needs to have a script. So I decided to, take on this adventure. Aside from like what I was going through at the job and all the red flags that I was seeing, it just was not good for me. There was so many boundaries that were being crossed, and I needed to acknowledge that within myself. I needed to have the mattering conversation with myself and say, "Hey, you matter." Like, how are you showing up that these circumstances keep appearing in your life over and over? Like, all these injustices, not being heard, not being seen. So all of these things just are reoccurring situations that are happening in my life. And I'm like, okay, no, I got to take a step back, because now I'm trying to take accountability for my actions. And I'm really trying to go back in time in my mind to see how I'm really contributing to these circumstances and how I'm showing up. So, aside from all that introspection stuff, I have been working on my own ventures, and I created HR Mindfulness. HR Mindfulness is an HR organizational design consulting agency. So, what I do is I help organizations with retention, engagement, onboarding, development initiatives, inclusion initiatives, and I customize holistic communication strategies for them. And I also put together professional development curriculums around leadership. I'm also providing coaching for employees that are seeking to change careers, that are seeking for their resumes to be revamped, and are just looking for a coach to help them through changing their mindset around their job search and identifying that you can apply to this job even though you don't have the right skill set on paper. Everything it just requires the rewiring of the brain and trying to operate from trust rather than, no, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. Like, we literally, like, I know this concept of trust and practicality, all these things, like practicality trumps theory, but ideally everything is in the mind. And being able to sit down and confidently speak on your expertise and being able to show that you can do the job, it's the same thing, so to speak, but you have to own it. So I help employees or just regular job seekers. I'm saying employees. I help them on their job search. So that's what I've been doing to bring in some money for myself. And I'm also on this website called Upwork. It's for freelancers. And I just finished wrapping up an assignment with an organization, helping them with their organizational design needs. So I just finished creating a customized onboarding, an onboarding experience with them that took me about, what, how long has it been? 2 months? It literally took me 2 months to complete. And I gave them an hourly rate, And it's actually been pretty fun, completely on the side. And in the event that I don't have enough cash flow for like my maintenance fees, because you know I like to do my nails and my hair, I go out and I do DoorDash for a couple hours too. So yeah. But my goal is to launch, to really kick off the HR mindfulness consulting agency. And by being on Upwork, I am doing a lot of networking, and hopefully this client would be able to refer me to another organization because this was a small business. So the HR mindfulness organization, my organization, I want to target smaller organizations that really don't have an HR presence, or like companies that are startups, tech startups. So and this organization was. So I was really happy that I was in alignment with taking the time for myself and working and perfecting this craft of mine, because that's what that's what I'm really passionate about. And being able to take the time out to do all of this is so liberating for me. Being able to live in these distinctions that I've learned and apply them, because that's what life coaching workshops are about. It's about you taking the theories that you've learned and applying them to your everyday life. And that's what leadership is about, too. Taking your values and your morals and applying it at work, applying it in your everyday life as the leader that you are. I was able to release my job and still transition to create a steady stream of income. I'm still productive, and I'm still able to recommit to myself every day to show up as my best self, to make active decisions, to let go and let trust kind of walk its way into my life and guide me with my eyes closed, you know? So, and it's also about remembering that what happens if you choose yourself? What happens if you choose yourself for once? So that's what this time is about. It's about introspection. It's about creating a new version of yourself and stepping into that version of you that you know that you could be. Like, why do we have to wait to be that version of ourselves that we see in our minds? I'm her today, right now. I'm being a consultant today, and I'm going to be a consultant tomorrow, and I'm going to help people on their journey in the career world. It just goes back to the mind, and it goes back to the ego, because the ego has been developed to protect you. The ego does not like negative emotions. So it's going to create these scenarios in our brains, like it did for me that day that I went to ropes, that are going to prohibit me from doing what I want, because it's scared. It's scared of feeling rejected. It's scared of the outcome of what something could be. So it's putting us in a narrative of being in the expecting place of something negative. So now what I'm trying to do is step away from that and be in the receiving place of something good, be in the receiving place of good news and good outcomes and many clients. And that's how I'm reprogramming my brain, because it's about that. It's not about living in a phase or in the state that you can't have what you want. Yes, I can have what I want, and I will, and I have been. What it looks like to recommit from a place of empowerment, just going for it. You're empowered, you're full of trust and love for yourself. And another thing about this whole job world and the job market, and not even the job market, I'm talking about the job market because this is my platform. I'm talking about work, but this goes for in every aspect of our lives, where we tend to we accept what we think we deserve. And I don't want to live in that space. I know what I deserve, and I'm not going to be dimming my light because my supervisor said so. My supervisor said that you're not ready for this, but I know that I'm ready. So I'm going to take the step. So moving forward, I decided to recommit, and I was recommitting from a place of having it work out rather than how it actually works out. And what that means is, instead of getting stuck on, oh, well, I don't have this certificate yet. Or, oh, I can't do this because I don't have the practical experience. Or, damn, I'm feeling super nervous on like this whole thing. It's like you're getting caught up on what it looks like rather than just going with it, or rather just like having it just work out. And that's what we all get stuck up on, including myself every single day. I'm always stuck in what it looks like rather than just doing it. This is my vision. I'm clear on my vision, but I'm here working out. Oh, I can't do it because this and this and that. And that's what stopped me a long time from quitting my job. I probably stood there longer than what I should have. To be, if we're honestly speaking here. Um, but yeah, I mean, ultimately I made the decision. I trusted in myself. I trusted in my gut. I know what I'm capable of doing, and I went out there and to do it. And I wanted to share this story with you all so you can also do it. If you have a plan, if you're financially in a good place to do so, then I would encourage you to do that, because this is the time to create new routine for yourself. This is a time to reestablish your willpower. This is a time to really recreate and show up as the person you want to be. So this is it. That's all I have for today. If you guys like my episode, please share and like it with your friends. If anyone is out there looking for any type of career coaching, any type of support, communication support, communication at work, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to link all of my information down at the bottom. And if you're interested in speaking to me about career coaching services, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. If you're interested in talking to me about creating a new mindset for yourself, again, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. Thank you guys, and stay tuned for next week's episode. I'm going to have a very special guest with me, and we are going to be talking about creating a culture of feedback in the workplace. So stay tuned.